So we have got time to revisit the item that we held over from the last meeting, which was the resource report. Thanks, Andrew. And I believe we take it as read. I believe Yanni has a question.
I was just concerned that just hearing from local residents that the smell's been really, really bad again. And I know we were advised last week that there'd been an infringement notice served by ECAN. Has there been any further notices of non-compliance or infringement notices served by ECAN? And have we actually talked to the operator to find out what's causing the really bad odour the last few weeks?
Yeah, so we have received a compliance monitoring report for the facility, and that was basically Environment Canterbury looking at each of the consent conditions and giving us kind of a status update on where we were sitting. So there's a couple of things out of that report that have been flagged that we now want to have a bit more dialogue with Environment Canterbury and make sure we can rectify with the contractor. In terms of the infringement notice issued, I think it was for the 17th of November, there was very little technical detail provided alongside that infringement notice. The operator has gone back to Environment Canterbury asking for that detail, and we've also approached Environment Canterbury asking for that detail, because without the technical rationale for the infringement, we can't make those changes. So we're just having that dialogue with the regulator about what the actual identified issue was, so that we can rectify it. And certainly we've had that negotiation with the operator, with Living Earth, since the council decision, and working through what operational changes they can make on site. But no additional infringement notices that I'm aware of at this stage.
I thought the infringement notice was early December, and there was another one, a notice of non-compliance in November. But
I think it was the infringement notice was...
It was received in December, but it was for a date in November.
Right.
Which I believe was the 17th.
And so do we have, people were just getting really upset because I guess they had hoped the recipe would solve the odour problem, and it appears things are getting worse. But do we have any understanding of how bad the problem is getting versus how much it's improving? Like, are we seeing any improvement in the number of complaints or that's happening? Because people were just trying to understand, the recipe was going to improve.
Can we get an update on any complaints that are being received, please? Do we get those off?
Because I understand Environment Canterbury rather than the City Council.
But I understand we get weekly updates.
Are made available on their website.
Okay, they're on the website. Yeah, thank you.
So can we get a copy of that compliance report? Like, could that be circulated to us so we can actually see what's in it? And is it a public document?
Not 100% sure. I'll come back to you guys though either way.
It's just because, on our website, the information's kind of dried up compared to ECAN's. So we were putting up updates when ECAN did it, and maybe we don't need to, but our website didn't seem to have up-to-date information.
So I guess, we need to understand the roles of the two organisations. Like, it's Environment Canterbury's role to regulate, air discharges in the community. They are the regulatory authority. We are a potential source of odour, and so we're trying to provide the community with as much information as we can. But Environment Canterbury, as the regulatory body, will be the one source of the truth for that data. So for any non-compliances, that or otherwise. So
it is good to see there has been an update since I last checked. So we do have a November and a December update. And just the final question really is around the recipe. Like, is there any kind of detailed information that we can understand about how effective the recipe was or wasn't?
So I think the critical thing with the recipe is that we've now, through the council resolution last week, we've now got a direction to change that incoming product again, to reduce, I guess, that commercial material, which has been identified as one of the high risk materials, and it's been flagged by the community as being a concern to them. So by changing that recipe, we are moving, I guess, again in terms of what will be processed through the tunnels. So that will have an impact on what comes out, albeit it's a very small proportion of the incoming material that is being, I guess, diverted.
But I just think at a high level, people just kind of want to understand though, like, we thought the changes to the recipe would work. The composition's changed.
And hence the resolution that we made last week. So,
Yeah, you know, I get
to
all
move
that.
away from the adaptation.
But I think just having some understanding of,
So there is some technical information around what they did in terms of changing the recipe and what the result was in terms of the temperature of the piles outside and the odour profile outside and the chemicals that make that up.
Yeah.
However, I'm not sure that any of that is going to be helpful
No.
in terms of understanding the number of complaints. And indeed, explaining that is sometimes seen as making excuses, and then you get howls of, but it didn't work.
Yeah,
So
I think at the end of the day, we're doing our best.
It's a difficult thing. We can provide more of that information, and we can show what changes were made. However, what we have all agreed is that the changes to the recipe have not been effective enough. They haven't made enough difference, and therefore we need to make the technology
we've been
changes.
over this last meeting. Other people got questions. Is it okay? We have made a decision to move forward.
okay,
with
so the
this.
key thing is the compliance report from ECAN. There's improvements that they're saying we can still make in terms of compliant with the consent, and we're talking to the operator.
That's correct. So we're not sitting back and saying, okay, the technology is going to solve it all.
Yeah.
We are continuing to work with the operator to improve the operation on site as much as we can in terms of those changes to the inputs to the composting process that were of particular concern to the community. So that's largely what people were talking about, the turkeys and the chickens and the fish meal.
Yeah.
Okay, so that material is coming out of the input stream, and we are continuing to work with both Living Earth and Environment Canterbury to understand what the particular issues are, if there are any further non-compliances, and we will address those, whether it's through changes to the recipe, changes to the misting on the site, changes to the site boundary.
Is there a key kind of, what's the kind of next key milestone where we can say to the community, we've done X, Y, Z, recipe didn't work, now we've done X, Y, Z, and we're aiming to look at an improvement?
I don't think there is another key milestone such as that. There is an iterative process of ongoing improvements as they're identified. However, the next big milestone will be the redevelopment of the plant.
Thanks, Helen.
So, I mean, there's one with taking out the commercial
Yeah,
feedstock.
that's what I was trying to
We're just doing our best, Yanni. Phil,
Yeah, people are pretty pissed off.
how's
now.
your arm? I saw you ages ago.
No, I was resting.
I saw you ages ago. Sorry.
I was interested in this because I thought Yanni would bring this up. So I asked the officers of CE, and I got a response back. Why are we not taking the commercial waste out until the 23rd of December? Because we made a resolution last week, take it out. Surely it's just a phone call, stop accepting it. But now we're commenced contractual negotiations with Living Earth. Why
So
do
the
we?
resolution asked that we commence contract negotiations to remove that material, so that's what we've done.
Bring them up, say stop.
They've agreed to stop accepting that material from the 23rd, which is this time next week.
Why? Like it's like we're playing with the people down there. Sort of. No wonder they get pissed off with us because we don't. If we've made a resolution, we just ring them and say, "Bang, do it." It's not my problem that they've got nowhere to take it. They can take it to the red bins or Parkhouse Road or whatever, dump it straight in the blue truck and it goes away. But I'm not getting at you. I'm just saying why can we not act quicker?
I think
that's why there's no smell difference.
Our approach to the commercial waste issue, and there's a significant revenue stream for the operator in that material, is to have a negotiation rather than to really force their hand and get litigious, basically, because they are taking a loss by removing those waste streams, and so we're trying to negotiate a fair and reasonable agreement to remove those waste streams rather than I guess direct them to cease everything right now as of today and then them come back and ask for costs.
Are they looking for compensation for taking the food waste out?
No, so we've had an initial negotiation with Living Earth and Waste Management, the operator, about how we remove those materials, and they've agreed to stop accepting that pre-consumer food waste, so the meat scraps, the fish waste, by 23rd of December. That negotiation will continue, and we'll look at whether there are other material streams that also need to come out, including, as discussed, some of the other food and organic material from other territorial authorities during construction. So we've started that dialogue, but you know, they weren't very receptive to the idea of not receiving any commercial material. That's about, I don't know their value actually, but that's a significant chunk of change for them in terms of income.
I think, Phil, we've got to understand that some of this might be commercially sensitive. Some of it is about negotiating a contract, and some of it staff probably can't speak to publicly about it. And it's a sensitive area, and I think getting it out by the 23rd, I'm quite impressed actually. And I know people would have liked to have seen it out. When did we make the decision? Was it last week or the week before? Yeah, so that's 3 weeks, it's not too bad. Immediately would have been good, but I think there's probably commercial sensitivity. Melanie, then Jimmy?
So that does mean that there won't be any change to the odour experienced until April, basically, doesn't it? For the 3 months?
Well, remember it's 2 weeks in the tunnels and then goes outside, so it'll start to change quite quickly. However, completing the old material that's out there will take a little longer. However, I don't think it's the oldest material that gives most of the odour. It'll be the fresher material that's actively composted that contributes most to the odour. Yeah. So I suspect the changes will come much faster than the complete turnover of the site.
Jimmy?
Regarding the time frame and also regarding the type of all those the waste collection, I just want to know, because you mentioned particularly in June of next year, you will be ready, is focus on yellow bin, am I right? Recycling the sites and associate the charge. Then feedback from the public, then in June, but you charge based on this new option from the July of 2021, or is waiting for another year, stage 2, you will do another one from the July of 2022, which year?
There's two critical things to it, and we've proposed to come back to council with a workshop on the charging mechanism, because we want that input around how we deliver those changes before we go out for consultation. Yes. So that's likely to happen at the end of January. But the critical thing is, under the current bylaw, we can't provide those larger refuse bins. Yes. So we're actually restricted by that bylaw. So we need to make the bylaw change, and then we can implement this service delivery, this change in services. So I don't know what has gone into the LTP discussion thus far, but we've certainly put it up as a discussion point to say we are looking to implement this change.
Okay. So until July of 2022, right? Started from 2022.
No, it could be enacted earlier than that, but it depends. We also need to get the bylaw changes through as well, so we can look at that. But some of the fees and charges we can change within the annual plan.
Right, that's a good question. Thanks, Jimmy. And I've just got one here on page 490. An encouraging drop in curbside recycling bin contamination through October indicates an improvement. Is that still a continuing trend? Because that's October, we've now had November.
It is a continuing trend.
Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. We've still got a way to go, but it's much better than it was. I believe we're about 20% of trucks at the moment.
Fantastic. That's really good news. So that the message is getting in. Because I think there's been a really good uptake on the pamphlets at the service centres, that people are picking them up to the stickers for the bins. So just people were wanting to be really clear about what they can put in, so they're figuring it out. So no more questions. I'm happy to move the report. Over seconder, James this time. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Oh, so I'm sorry, Yanni, did you want to discuss?
Well, I just wanted to reflect that, the community were really grateful for the decision that was made last week, but they're really struggling to comprehend how our plant, which we contract out to an operator, is just continuously producing a really foul odour in the community. And they're really getting incredibly stressed out, particularly going into a holiday season where a lot of people will want to have family and friends come and visit and celebrate the end of the year and Christmas. That the problem just seems to be continuously getting worse. I think it's really concerning that ECAN have finally only just served an infringement notice, and then to hear that we're challenging it. Like, if anyone lives in that area and put up with that smell, anyone shouldn't be, we shouldn't be challenging it. Like, it seems crazy to me that anyone would try and argue that there's not a problem in that community and that we need more information and more evidence. There is a clear problem, and I wish it had improved. I thought the 3-month adaptive management plan would address some of the issues, because it was building up and getting worse and worse, despite all the focus that we've had on it since 2015. But yeah, I think getting transparency around the compliance report to the local community is really important, so that they can see what things are going to be done and get clear timeframes for when. It is concerning to hear that we're going to wait till the 23rd of December for that other stuff to come out, but I understand there's obviously contractual issues. But like, you know, please don't be under any illusion of how bad this problem is and how it appears to be getting worse, and that this is a private company that's profiting off this. So, you know, it's time, it really is time for it to stop, and it's time that we actually got greater transparency about what's happening there so the community can understand it. Because at the moment, if you just go onto the Facebook group, you'll see the mood and the tone of that community, and they are absolutely fed up, which is a real shame when we did something really positive last week to have to deal with repeated complaints. Someone must know what's going on there to be causing the problem, and someone must have the power to stop it.
Thank you, Yanni.
Yeah, because the particular, based on the STAR report, emphasize, the seawater infrastructure and the environment committee, actually has been adopted the council 2020, those the waste management and also the kind of the the minimize the plan, So that's one, but key issue is implementation plan. So we follow those implementation plan. One aspect actually contribute to our the climate change. The other one is we see those the kind of vision. We particularly emphasize this is zero waste and the circular economy. But if we are not follow those the implementation plan to be a good model, also need to working together, with the central government, also as well as those the key stakeholders, we possibly still cannot make that happen. So this report just remind us, just go on, move on.
Thanks, Jimmy. Look, I hear what Yanni's saying. I do support Yanni in this, but part of our resolution was that staff continue to be engaging with the community, and if we can share any information that we have and make sure our website is current. And I think also part of the resolution was to encourage perhaps a reduction in the volume that they put through if we can negotiate that. So anything we can do to help, and I hear that you are trying to help, and I think it's really important, because I do feel for those people too, Yanni, and I feel for you because you cop it. So I think we've made that decision that we're doing everything that we can. We will keep trying, working with the operator, and we'll keep trying our best. So thank you for the report, and it's been moved and seconded, it's been debated. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Opposed? That's carried. And just while you're there, Helen, did you have anything to report about the leaks, the water leaks that you wanted to tell us?
So you asked for a memo a few weeks ago in terms of water service requests and the delay in responding to minor leaks, particularly at residential properties.
Yes.
So when we produced that memo, there was quite a backlog. There were, I'll just, hang on, I'll pull out my numbers. And we've been doing considerable work with our contractors to clear that backlog. So when we sent the memo through to you, we reported a backlog which was as of the 24th of November, where we had, 85 jobs that were between 2 and 4 weeks old, 46 jobs more than a week old, and 2 jobs sort of 4 to 7 days old, when we aim to complete all of those within 3. So I'm pleased to report that now that backlog is there are none in that 2 to 4 weeks. There are none in more than 1 week. We have 2 that are setting out between 4 and 7 days, and all of the remainders are within the 0 to 3 days.
So we've kind of caught up.
We've caught up, cleared the backlog, and we're getting daily reports from the contractor to ensure that we stay caught up.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Helen. That is good news. Thank you very much.
All right, cheers. And I did get an update through text on the Grassmere well, back in service on the 2nd of December, and final handover before Christmas. So yes, that well is back in service and completed.
Thank you,
Thanks,
wonderful,
Helen. Good work.
wonderful work.
Come down to point 2.
So I'll now call on Councillor Daniels to close the meeting.
Kia ora tātou, here